Hey there folks, welcome to the YouTube video here on the channel. My name's Emily, we are here at Carlisle. This unit's been stabled here overnight and we've been allocated to take it to Dumfries on a first train of the day. So we'll set the departure board first of all for Dumfries. I wanted to use this livery because it's the old Nexus slash Tanweer PT livery on the Pacer, and it looks really weird for a Pacer to me. So, cab prep on the Pacer, looking down, key on, AWS reset, engine start. There you go, engines are on. Now we're here and we need to build iron, so zero range set because we're on a red aspect. But we'll turn the compressor speed up on. You can hear the engines revved up now. At least I hope you can. Really quickly. Yeah, there you go. So you can hear it a little bit outside. I'll just get it so it's a little burble. There you have it. So yeah, the engine's now revved up. This is compressor speed up off. You can hear the engine dies right off. Oh look, a 60 with tankers on. And yet that's the new TSRS T8. So for this scenario, AP93, I've modified it. I've replaced some of the trains to use what I think are better trains. And we're going to set our headlights to day ahead. Instrument light on. Destination light on. Cab light stays off. Everything else is untouched. We're just going to basically build the air pressure. To be totally honest with you, the doors will open now. But we'll wait for the air pressure to build. I want to get brake cylinder to a full step 3 and main res higher, and that way we can test that the brakes come off before we start boarding passengers. So the brake cylinder is now becoming charged. It's quite a few, quite a long tanker train that. As you can see, I've just used loco swap on it. So it's quite a handy little tool. Waiting for that main res to start climbing. There we go. So we're now fully charged. Compressor speed up comes off. Verify reverser to neutral. And what I'll do to test that my brakes are working as expected. Full service brake. We're now ready to board, so the guard will release the doors and we'll get passengers on board the train. We're not due to go out for about 12 minutes, so we'll let the passengers board. And we'll catch you guys in a second. We'll watch the trains that come through the station in the meantime. I am, of course, using Ash Clark's branding patch for the AP Valenta HST there. Looks fabulous. Got some stabled red stock over here and some 37s. Always 37s at Carlisle. So of course a Pacer getting ready to go up to Lancaster. I'm a fan of the GMPT livery. That is one of like the really cool ones I think BR had. See the red lights there on the back of the PCV, propelling control vehicle. Oh, got 92 coming. I've got a model of that. Oh yeah, we're not away for 8 minutes. So this, obviously the HST's on a Sussex Scott. Oh, HST's got the road. Apparently not. Oh well. We'll pretend. So one bit of comment I will pass on this scenario. I personally have started a little bit later, but the AI you experience in this is really cool and does make it quite worthwhile. Well, that's frustrating. You saw me register the GSMR then, talk about the lines into Carlisle. So, I pointed out the Tyne Valley, sell to Carlisle, Cumbrian Coast, and the demolished Carlisle avoiding lines now. So, hang on, bear with me and I'll talk through it. So it's 1984. Yes, Willie Taylor was the name of the signaller. So, power off, we're at 20. There was a rail crash that happened here, where basically a freight train was coming down Shap and separated. Probably wouldn't have been Shap, it would have been closer than Shap, but anyway, it was coming towards Carlisle and separated. So there was some motor wagons that had run away behind. So the signaller basically saved the front half of the train by getting the, getting that train to safety and put the trailing end down the Carlisle avoiding lines and ended up demolishing the bridge when the train came off. But basically saved a whole lot of lives in like early morning Carlisle station. And that's the Carlisle avoiding lines coming in from the left there. They're now long gone. But I was just saying before that it's been ages since I actually driven down it in train sim. It'd be quite fun to do. Yeah, I'm sort of panicked there. So going up to 60 now. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go idle about 45 and do a running brake test. The reason we do a running brake test, this is obviously this unit's first train of the day. We saw the brakes come off, but we want to make sure they come back on again. So what we're going to do is get up to, like I said, a bit of speed and test the brakes, make sure they work, and also give us an idea of how well they work on this unit. Because same with a car, you know, if this unit's just been in the depot to have its brake box changed, it'll brake quite well. If it's due to go to Heaton to have its your brakes looked at, perhaps not as good. So it's always good to be aware. So going to idle, power off. So I'm doing a 5 mile speed decrease there, brake comes off, go straight back into full power, and we've got it. So it just gives us an idea of what kind of brake performance we're going to achieve. Love a pacer. First time driving a one with a functioning NRN, which is quite cool. Carlisle Kingmore Depot on the left there. You can hear the gear change. So that's Carlisle Kingmore Depot. We've got some DRS 20s parked outside. Guess one of the things we can really quickly rapidly look at. Obviously, so cab 2 of the 142. NON radio, AWS TPWS isolate. Second man side, TPWS isolate. Second man seat, my seat. Throttle up to 7 notches of power. Engine start stop, couple uncouple, compressor speed up. You saw that functioning today. Sander. Apply sand. Let's see what's over here in Kingmore. This is Kingmore Yard, I believe. Got some tankers. Must be the tankers we saw passers pulled in there. And what else we got? Yeah, I think that is them. Yeah, that looks a lot like... Yeah, it is. That's cool. That's where they've been pulled in. Probably still have the morning rush pass. I know it's a Saturday morning, but still. Coal, another 60. I'm using the Meduel 60. I know the issues with it, but it's the best 60 we've got, and I'm sick of looking at others. EWS 60 and a 56. Let's keep thrashing. So getting up to 75 now. So we're at 65. We're still in full power, not masses to go on here. Anyway, back to our controls. We've got a horn. Pretty fun to makes fun frame-based sounds. Got a speedometer, AWS reset, fault lights, brake indicator, that's brake cylinder, that's main res. Bear with me 1 sec, I'm just getting a little command prompt up because I've got a fun idea. So we've got horn variants. So if I do Control Shift H, Shift Control H, let's do 4. 4 was a fun horn. So yeah, we're just going to get up to 75. So that's 70. We're nearly at 75. I'll get to 75 and we'll go idle. Also, one of the perks of this is we've got Northern Spirit Macat on board. And oh my god, the childhood memories that brings back. Yes, so what I was looking for was bounce factor. Because we're running at high speed, we'll put like a bounce factor of 2 on. We're at 75, so I go idle, but then I go... So our first stop today is Annan and then Dumfries. It's a total distance of around 30 miles. It's quite a nice little run this. I really enjoy this line. It's one of those that I sort of do about once a year, but I quite enjoy it when I do it. Can't do it about any more than that, but once a year is about perfect for me. See, there's a 105 post, doesn't apply to us. We're actually already in a 125. Well, 125 for EPS, got me on EPS in this area. But it doesn't... I'm going to go idle for a bit, just let the speed drop off. So we've got quite a while actually until we pull off. It's just because obviously there's high speed signals here. You've got quite a way on the signal sections. I could probably coast down. Actually, I've got the padding. Let's just coast down. We've got quite a bit of time on the journey today. Obviously diverging, we are at 50. Love Doppler effect. I'm going to use a bit of power because it's a mile and a half from that signal. Well, the speed's dropping off a bit too much for me. We are obviously heading towards the Scottish border from Carlisle. So I believe it is Gretna Junction that we go. Oh, yeah, it's Gretna. Is it Gretna Junction? Possibly Gretna Junction. So Gretna Green is the most southern town in Scotland. The English-Scottish border runs at sort of, I would say about 070 from here up to just north of Berwick. And basically that means that so obviously this is quite far south than, or quite a bit further south than most of the towns. Now in Scotland the age that you can get married at without your parents' consent is 16. In England it's 18. So a lot of runaway marriages would come here to get married, and it's a tradition to this day. Basically, if you want a sort of a very basic wedding, Gretna's where you go. Over the junction we go. Now I know there's a TSR in place, so this is quite a sort of a fun line to do hoodless. Because there's a TSR in play over a bridge, which we can either ignore or actually roleplay out. As you can see, we are still in a 50. We're at 45 because of the flanging. I put a bit of power on just to get us around the curve. The curve. As you hit the single track, we get taken up to a 70. So what I'll do is the nose passes, because this unit accelerates quite slowly, full power goes, and it's very short, full power. A sip of my Pepsi there. I've got a few days off work, and one of the things I need to do is use like the last, like the drags, because that bottle's quite flat now, and immerse my T key in it. So T key is a railway carriage key. I don't see what you use to open panels on trains and stuff, but mine is really like manky, really oxidised, because it's made of steel. Apparently, if you immerse it in Pepsi, it cleans it. On Coke, but Pepsi is basically the same as Coke chemically. "30 warning." You can't see it from here, but I'll take a step one, slow us off. Because bear in mind, that will be, it's a normal brake application for a freight train, so step one, the speed will scrub off about right. So you saw the TSR post there, so basically, yeah, that's a warning post for it, and it's basically warning 30 coming up. You can see it's there. It's a very small sign. "35, 30. There we go. So go over this bridge at 30. You can see we're now passing 80, so that means we can do 75 legally. And then give it the odd 1 1000, 2 1000, full power. Now, part of the sort of physics of the pacer, you're usually quite safe to accelerate passing a speed limit. The reason being, the hydraulic gearboxes on these basically take time to rev. So you take power and the fluid has to be pushed through the gearbox. By that time, your train's generally past the speed limit. So quite easy to drive in that sense. That didn't have a W board, and that's an unprotected level crossing. That's good. So now I've still got 6 miles to go. So you hear the tone there. That is the gearbox changing, and basically the way the fluid setup changes. I believe it's the engine RPM remains constant, but the fluid being pushed through changes pressure, and that's how the the power is then applied. Oh, and upping the bounce factor to a 4. So yes, the 142s were fitted with a Voith T211R transmission. So when accelerating from a standing start, the engine revs up and oil fills the torque converter, which allows acceleration to take place. There's a 2-second or so delay between the engine revving and the oil filling the converter, which is why these units are accelerate as soon as power is applied. At 45 miles an hour, the oil transfers from the torque converter to the fluid coupling, which results in a reduction of engine RPM. During this stage, engine RPM is directly proportional to the speed of the train. which means RPM will be the same regardless of which notch is selected on the power handle. All that varies is the load being placed on the engine. Does that make sense? Good. This is some sort of typical pacer action. To be honest, this is bad pacer action. We'll do 4. Oh god, hello. But this is about right for the pacer on a line like this at speed. So we'll shut off for about... So it's Anan next. Yeah, sorry, I'm just panicking because I'm paranoid. And actually, no, we'll stay shut off because you can see, even with all that, actually, no, 45 seconds, like, full power. Rag it. That close down was a bad idea. I was 2 minutes early at this stage of my last journey. I believe that's MOD Easter eggs that we've just gone past. So that's why the snowplows are stored. A zoomy boy. I do love the fact that double effect is simulated in this game. There we go, we'll brake on now. Yeah. So you can see the speed doesn't actually scrub off too well at high speed. Has got tread brakes. Sorry, that's because we've got tread brakes. When we transition throughout 30 miles an hour, the brake bite increases substantially. I've seen it where it looks like the back is bouncing up and down. Remember, we've got a 70 limit departing in Anan. Going back to driving these, so I've been doing a lot of HST stuff lately just for myself. I'm quite enjoying the new Valenta HST. I need to cover it for a proper route learner. But going back to driving these, it is... You very rapidly forget how much more thought goes at driving an HST than goes at driving one of these. Probably the answer that I'd give. Yeah, I'm a bit like that. Hopefully I'm within the time frame. So one of the areas I wish this game was more forgiving, timeliness. So believe it or not, if you are a cross-country train until GPR, or until East Coast Velocity, sorry, as long as you are within 15 minutes of time, you are considered on time. LNER, 3 minutes. And you look at it, when you bear all that in mind though, so with cross-country, their stats are awful for timeliness. Comparatively, because like, even with like it's like half of the trains within 50 minutes of time, whereas with it's like 70% within 3 minutes of time with LNER. Sorry. So notch 3 for the pull away. Going through 10. Notch 5. And then at 15, we've just got full power. Being blocked by a bridge parapet there. I do enjoy this journey. I am going to say this, so this is probably going to be Monday's video. So happy June, I guess. I'm going to push this out early. I'm rescheduling some content at the moment. I am struggling with the weekend uploads. I know I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I've got probably this weekend just gone, and next weekend, because I'm going to be doing the S-Bahn Rhine-Main, or whatever it's called. Frankfurt S-Bahn, there we go. And I've got like 3 shorter videos to do with that, so I'll do that over a weekend. But aside from that, doing 3 videos a week and having a full-time job is really hard. With my current job, as you guys know, I work on board for a major rail operator. I'm really starting to struggle actually with sort of keeping my energy levels high and wanting to make content for YouTube. Like, it is not an easy job. I say it louder for those of you at the back, it's not an easy job. You know, it's very physically tiring. I've just had a really hard weekend as well, and I've not been sleeping very well to go into it. So I'm recording this on Wednesday night. I did Friday at work, 4:40 start. That is an easy train down, but you come back on the 9 o'clock, and the 9 o'clock is a very hard train for us, 9 o'clock out of London. Saturday, I did an additional football fan service, which I was basically on my own at the bar on the way down. I sat on the floor on the way back, but I was still just tired getting home because it was a hard day going down. Sunday was busy going down because I was in first class, and on the way back I was on the bar on my own again. And I did a personal best for bar take. Monday was a little Edinburgh. No, it wasn't. I'm lying. It was a steady day, I would call it. Not hard, not easy, not hard, but steady. Yesterday was double first, and it was a bit easy up, hard back. Going to Edinburgh, that is. And today was yeah. So I was booked spare. So in the railway, because obviously we need to have a certain number of staff on trains. You have people sitting what's called spare. So if you don't get a booked job before the day, you come into the crew room and you sit there. And if there's a job, you go and you do it. I was really hoping not to get it today because of like the week I've had. And basically, I was sitting there 20 minutes, and I ended up getting a job out, and I drank 3 cans of Monster at work, and I not drank that much caffeine since I was at the contact centre. And I came home and I slept for 6 hours. That's about how well that went. Yeah. These luggage racks as well. There's one, must have been in the other. Do we have a passenger in the other carriage? No, we don't. In the other carriage, where it's just a massive luggage rack, and I'm like, imagine if we had this much luggage space per person on something like an Azuma. Wow. Or like an 800. And guess end of the cab tour, DRA drives reminder appliance, wiper control, headlight controls. The Pacers, as you can see, when originally made, only had night headlights. They were retrofitted with day headlights later in life. Signal buzzer, instrument panel light, destination light, cab light, heater, screen heater, Westcott 3-step brake, AC, heater controls, master key, reverser. Yeah, we're nearly there. I've run out of talking points for the day, but yeah, like I say, it's been a tough week. I'm glad I'm off tomorrow. I've got a lovely little weekend away planned, which is why I'm trying to get all my videos knocked out now if I can. Oh, another train! I'm not the only person on the railway. Meow. Where's he going to and from? Let's have a look. Glasgow Central to Carlisle. So he left Glasgow 2 hours ago, almost. So my plan for tomorrow is just to sleep. Basically, because I don't need to be up early tomorrow, I'm not setting an alarm. If I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, because that's what I've been waking up at lately, I will actually cry my eyes out. But hopefully I'll be able to get a nice little lie in it going on. And then just have a chill day. A recovery day, if you will. Put the power back in for about 45. Actually, I'm going to give it a beat and then I'll brake. I'll probably brake under this bridge, step to it. Well, my notes were wrong. I do like the sound of the brake rub. It's like one of my favourite sounds on these old tread brake units. Tread brakes are pretty much gone from trains nowadays. Maybe like 153s I've still got them, 155s, but like, yeah. This is Dumfries we're pulling into. So if you were to continue, you'd go towards somewhere like place like Stranraer, and if you continued on this line all the way, you'd end up in Glasgow, which is where that train was coming from before. That's where most of the trains on this line are from now. It was actually quite a cool train back in the day. Well, back in the day, train 19. That I caught home from work once, because I used to work down by the metro centre, and I occasionally catch the train if I felt sad and didn't want to get on the bus. Yes, that's how I dealt with depression back then. Got on a train. But yeah, as I was saying before, I really interrupted myself there. It basically would start its day in Glasgow and come down to Newcastle. It would sit in Newcastle for like a few hours, and then head back up towards basically head back up the line towards Glasgow. But it would end up doing some like little trips from Northern in the meantime. So yeah, it was quite cool to see. But that is Dumfries, folks. That's going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to more. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, drop a comment with any video suggestions. See ya.